Alright, day 2 of this Pontiac session, and some bad news here. I got the drum you see there off these rear brakes. You saw they were leaking. There's more leaking there. I'll show you what I found in here. This is kind of unexpected. I knew the wheel cylinder was leaking, but check this out. The piston is somehow came all the way out of the the cylinder here. That's the piston right there, and it's all the way out here. It's supposed to be in the shoe, so I don't know what happened there. If it just fell off the brake shoe, or I don't know. But that's not right. So I'm gonna have to do a brake job on it because it soaked the rear linings here, all that stuff. And I'm gonna go down and look. I said I had a pair of shoes for this thing. I think I do, or I did. If I still got them, I'm not sure if I still have them or not. So I'm going to go down there and look for them. If not, I'll have to run to town to get some, because you can't reuse them once they're like this. See, these are starting to come apart right here, disintegrating, I guess. I don't know what's happened to that, but they're in bad shape. So I'm going to just go ahead and pull this apart and rebuild it. Well, I found my shoes. They look kind of rough, but they're unused, never been put on, so they should be fine. I was looking at these shoes here, the old ones, and something occurred to me when I was comparing these. If you look at these shoes here, let's see, the right one's out there. If you look at these shoes, you'll notice one's got more material on it than the other. That's the shorter and that's longer. Well, looked at these and they're got two long ones on it. So there's another redneck repair done wrong. That's probably may have even had something to do with this brake cylinder coming apart like it did. You don't ever put the same size shoes on the same wheel, okay? The short one goes on the front, the long one goes on the back, towards the back of the car. Remember that. So now I guess I have to take that one apart over there and see if there's two short shoes on it. What's wrong with people? I mean, if you're that stupid, don't try to work on the car, really. So there's all the parts, and I also found out that the self-adjuster froze up tighter than Dick's hat band, so I got to unfreeze that. But right now I'm going to take a little break and go get some lunch. I hadn't had anything to eat yet, and I'm not starved, so I'll get back on this in an hour or so. See ya. Well, I will show you why I went ahead and broke for lunch. I'm back now, and that's cause I have to deal with this silly wheel cylinder, getting it off. And this is one of those, they don't bolt on, they got a clip on the back of them, holds them on. And I'll show you this. I'll use my mirror, maybe you can see what we're talking about here. Let's see, okay. Let me go ahead, I'm trying to get this adjusted in so maybe we can see better. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the back of it. I'm in the mirror here. See that there's a clip going around it, and if you look right there kind of between the bleeder and where the line screws in, just to the right and left of that, you see there's where that clip, you have to pry it out, and that's what retains this thing into the backing plate, and it ain't fun. So I've dealt with these before and I just don't like them. So I gotta do that now. So I figured I'd go ahead and get primed up with some food. Good thing about this is I tell you, the parts for these cars are just dirt cheap. I think the wheel cylinder was $7.99, the little heater valve was $9.99, and I bought a thermostat and gasket, and I don't think that was more than about $4 or $5 for both of those combined. So these are a good car if you're learning to work on cars and you don't have a lot of money but you want to learn to do things. These are a good car to start on because they're just easy to work on, like I said, and they're cheap and plentiful, parts plentiful. Just a really fun thing to do. I don't even think I've got $100 on all the parts I've bought for this yet. So this paint color is called lamp black. It is indeed black, it's not blue. Get the mechanical stuff dealt with. I'm going to try to rub this paint out a little bit, make it look a little better at least. And one of the things that's coming up, I know this door's got a big dent in it, and I'm not going to keep this door, but the hinge pins are worn slap out up there, and you can see they're starting to, it's been hitting this pin there, and that's not a good thing. It's starting to screw that up, and I'm not much concerned about that, but I'm more concerned about that hinge pin in there, because when they start hitting them like that, trying to get them closed, those things can rip that striker pin out, so that ain't good. So I'll be fixing that along the way too. Lots of little things, but it's a fun old thing to fool with, you know. I like it. Well, let me tell you, putting this clip back on this wheel cylinder is not one of the more fun things to do ever. That's why I dread it. You know, you got that little clip I showed you on the back of it, and it's got to be pushed into place from the back, and it's a spring clip. So what you have to do, you have to improvise up here, and you have to wedge something between this wheel cylinder and the axle here to keep the wheel cylinder from moving out when you're pushing on it with back there. And you have to take like a hammer and a screwdriver to push those things on, get them to clip. You ain't gonna be able to push it, not easily, because there's no room back there. So it's not fun, you know. And this is just one of these stupid cost-cutting designs GM came up with. You know, they had to eliminate 1 or 2 bolts. It could have made life a whole lot easier for everybody. No, they got to put a clip on it. Clip's a good idea. Saves us 15 cents on every car we build. You cheap bastards. All back together. I really don't like doing back brakes, but anyway, I want to tell you for sure, when you deal with these adjusters down here, be sure that you keep the right adjuster on the right side. And that doesn't sound exactly right, but what I mean is keep them like left side adjuster, keep it where it's supposed to go. Don't switch them up, because if you do, you'll do what I did one time, and I had a car with drum brakes all the way around, and I put the wrong adjuster on one of the front wheels, and I kept noticing my brakes got worse and worse the further I went. I made a couple trips around the block, and then finally the self-adjuster ended up just falling off. And what it is every time I put the brakes on, it loosened instead of tighten up. So be sure you remember that. Don't do that. And what I do is I crank this adjuster in, and then I start test fitting the drum over the shoes, and I just try to get it close. I just manually adjust them back out by hand, and get them just where there may be just a little bit of drag on it, not much at all. And then you don't have to, the self-adjusters don't have to do much work to set the brakes back again. And like I said, be sure that you put the right shoe in the right spot. Put the short shoe up front, put the long shoe on the back of the car. So, alright, I'm going to wrap this side up, guys, and then I'm going to go around and take a peek in there and see if I got any bad news on the other side. See ya. Well, just what I was afraid of. They put both short shoes on the right.